Wow. Miss a week of church and look what happens. A virtuoso arrives in our midst. That piano is so happy right now. Good morning. My name is Susan Tarragano, and I serve on the Board of Trustees for the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spartanburg. It is my delight to welcome you this morning, whether you're here in person or joining us virtually. This is a welcoming congregation where everyone is welcome just as we are. There are many important announcements on the sheet titled Connect at the back of your bulletin this morning. Please check them out to see all that you can be a part of. Please plan to attend these two important meetings coming very soon, and I mean like one's in an hour. This Sunday, May 7th, following our morning service, the Mission Vision Covenant team will share with us an update on our process to develop a vision statement for our congregation. Please come. This process will shape the goals of our congregation for the next 5 years. Thank you to everyone who has poured so much into this process already. On Sunday, June 11th, following our morning service, we will hold our annual meeting. This is a time to elect new officers, vote on a new budget, and celebrate all that we have done together as we launch into a new year of service. This is a vital and joyful gathering, so please plan to attend. Thank you all for making this a place of love and kindness for every one of us.
Good morning, all. It's a really beautiful day. Thank y'all for being here. If you will turn to 658 in your gray hymnal, we have a responsive reading. I will read the part in regular font if you guys would respond with the section that's italicized. To laugh is to risk appearing the fool. To reach out for another is to risk exposing our true self. To love is to risk not being loved in return. To try is to risk failure. Now, if you will turn to number 123 in your hymnal and rise as you are willing and able. Now comes the time in our service where we partake in a ritual of community and mutuality, love, support. As we come forward and drop a shell or a stone into the rippling bowl, we allow this community to buoy our heart in times of sorrow and to dance with gladness with us in times of happiness. Please come as you are able and desire. For those of you who are watching from afar, please know that all of your joys and sorrows are also held by this community. Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you. Now, I invite each of you to join us as we reaffirm our commitment to this church, to this community, to one another, and to ourselves as we say the covenant together. We are a people of faith and hope. Together we strive to become our better selves, to honor both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to respond to systems of violence and oppression with the power of a love beyond belief. And now, let's make some holy chaos and greet one another. As always, be respectful of the boundaries of those around you, but open your hearts with gladness and say hello. And when you hear the music, fight that internal drive to pretend that you do not hear it. And come on and sit back down so we can keep going. Now comes the time where we share our resources with this community to help it grow and to thrive. Joyce is going to come and talk to us about our Share the Plate this month, an organization which I am very proud for us to be joining with.
I have a voice. Started out as a whisper, turned into a scream, made a beautiful noise, shoulder to shoulder marching in the street. When you're all alone, it's a quiet breeze, but when you band together, it's a choir of thunder and rain. Now I have a choice, 'cause I have a voice. We have a voice, both individually and collectively through WREN, the South Carolina Women's Rights and Empowerment Network. We can respond individually or collectively to their calls for action and support them by subscribing to their newsletter or supporting them financially. Each year, WREN fights for tangible change in our state. WREN believes that freedom, equality, and justice should not depend on where we live, how much money we make, or how we identify. WREN is working to build a future that affirms all people and where all of our families and communities are safe, healthy, and thriving. WREN is working for South Carolina girls and women every day, on the front lines. Their priorities include securing paid parental leave for teachers, removing tax from period products, blocking censorship in our schools, prohibiting discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity, and shutting down a near total abortion ban. This year, already, they have had 2 successes in that particular area. WREN has been able to secure reasonable workplace accommodations for pregnant and breastfeeding women, like access to a water bottle while you're working, or a clean private spot to nurse or express milk while breastfeeding. This was a first for our nation. 6 weeks of paid family leave they have been able to secure for state employees for families that are having a new child or adopting, and 2 weeks for leave for placement of a foster child. They have passed legislation prohibiting paying sub-minimum wages to people with disabilities. WREN is effective and has been successful in working across the aisles in our South Carolina legislature to accomplish these things. So please, today, when the plate comes your way, consider donating to WREN this month through our Share the Plate. Share the Plate works this way. All designated monies through notations on your check via our website or in envelopes marked, and those envelopes are right in the pockets in front of you, which marked with Share the Plate or WREN, will go to WREN this month. and half of the undesignated money in the collection plate will also go to Ren. So thank you for supporting, in whatever way you can, our voice, the South Carolina Women's Rights and Empowerment Network.
I invite you to join me in the Metta meditation this morning. Feel free to either speak the italicized words aloud or to follow along silently. We begin by expressing love for ourselves. May you be free of suffering. May you be at peace. May you know the joy of your own true nature. May you be healed. May you be a source of healing for all others. May you know love. We then express love for those for whom we care. May you be free of suffering. May you be at peace. May you know the joy of your own true nature. May you be healed. May you be a source of healing for all others. May you know love. We express love for those who we find difficult in small ways and in large. May you be free of suffering. May you be at peace. May you know the joy of your own true nature. May you be healed. May you be a source of healing for all others. May you know love. And finally, we express love for all beings. May you be free of suffering. May you be at peace. May you know the joy of your own true nature. May you be healed. May you be a source of healing for all others. May you know love.
Join me in silence. Truth. It may surprise some of you, but I do work on these meditations for the whole week prior to Sunday. Sometimes even further in advance than that, regardless of what your actual experience on a Sunday morning may be. Sometimes something happens that isn't what we had planned. It comes into our life as an encounter or even an interruption. And then the question is, what do we do? What do we do with this? Yesterday morning, I was up early, being still in the morning, before the full light of dawn had broken over the hill that comes over the back of our house. We live in the woods. And there in the early morning, we let our dog out. But very quickly, she came back to the door, ready to come back in, earlier than usual for an early morning trip. And so we let her in, and she was anxious, agitated. And when she acts that way, we often invite her to go back outside. So we did, and she came right back. And so we brought her in and asked, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" Because I don't know about the animals in your life, but our dog definitely speaks to us. Not always with the same words that I'm using with you now, but she definitely communicates. What's wrong? And her eyes just searching the shape of that hill behind our home. And I looked, my wife standing beside me looked out of the glass door at the back of our house, looked and could not see what was right in front of us until finally we saw. There was a doe sitting on the hill behind our home, looking straight at us, like the most beautiful Greek sculpture you can imagine. Artemis herself peering into our soul, looking at us and not moving. We watched. We watched. We backed away from the glass door and went into the kitchen to look through the window so that we would be obscured from her sight, and watched. And after a long time had passed, she moved. She stood up. And as she turned, there was another movement. The little fawn rose up out of the undergrowth and walked just beside her. And then another fawn rose up out of the undergrowth and walked beside her with that absolute quiet that deer can command to move through the dry leaf floor. So beautiful, so elegant. And we just watched. Watch them move. Watch this beauty. We watched her nose these two newborn fawns. And they went back down into the undergrowth and curled, and she bounded away. We looked at each other, first in absolute wonder at the beauty of what we had just seen. There had been a doe moving through the greenways in our neighborhood, who neighbors had said was nearing the time of birth. And there, in the night, while we slept, in the woods just behind our house, the wonder of the life of these two fawns came into our world. And as we stood in wonder, a concern for care flooded into us. Wait a minute, they're lying down in our yard. What responsibility do we now carry for these two beings who have come into our world? And as quickly as that feeling of care filled us, warm and overwhelmingly beautiful, anxiety also spiked. Because we realized that in the home of a minister and a therapist, there's not a lot of knowledge about what to do about two fawns. Wonder and care, and an utter lack of wisdom. What do we do? Everything we had planned for that day altered by this new, beautiful circumstance. And so, with what little wisdom we could muster, we reached out to people of vast knowledge, an entire family of biologists. And we shared the pictures that we had taken from a distance and what was happening. That we lived in an enclosed yard because of children and pets. But what did that mean for these fawns and their ability to travel with their mother? Was this place of haven one night now a place of immobility for the next? And so we followed the wisdom of these biologists. Open all of your fences, keep your dog on the leash and go out the front door. Make a space of quiet. Make a space. And trust the mother to know what she needs to do for those fawns. All day, we watch from a distance, concerned as parents of another species that they be well. And looking just from afar, over and over again, we were stopped by the wonder of the instinct and the knowledge, the innate wisdom, in these two newborns. Their ability to camouflage in the dappled sunlight. Their ability to blend with the new spring vinca and the dry oak leaves. The way they knew to curl and raise their ears just above the undergrowth, to listen, resting and always alert on their first day of life. In this place, we fail for words because the words can never say enough. We bring so much to our different words. And so I share this word with you, not to insist on a meaning, but to try to evoke the awe of what we witnessed. We felt like we were standing in a miracle in its everydayness. The overwhelming beauty of just what is in our world. Life seems to me often to be a question of finding the balance between connection and space. That when we encounter one another, when we encounter a stranger, when we encounter the world that is beyond our human sphere, that somehow we find that harmony, that balance of being at once aware and alive to the connection that is there for us to see and feel and experience, and also to make space for life that is not our own, to create a place of mutual awareness and mutual thriving for all beings. We were amazed at the beauty of these fawns and assailed by the complexity of questions that their being raised in us. What do we do? What is our responsibility? Do I need to go rip down all the fences along my back lot? But isn't that also protecting them from the neighborhood pets? And who can I ask for help? And how do we help our children experience this and give space at the same time? And how long is the right amount of time to wait? And how long is too long to wait, to ask for more expert help? And why are these deer moving through our neighborhood? Or why have we put a neighborhood where these deer are moving? And what is the world that we choose to create each day? And in the immediacy of these decisions, how do we envision a more interconnected world of mutual thriving? And how do we choose to build something more sustainable and more long range? All of this interconnected, overwhelming complexity in the simple, sheer beauty of these beings and their veriditas, the green truth of their lives that Hildegard of Bingen has been speaking to us about for 1,000 years. The sheer fact of their existence speaking the wonder of the universe and calling us into questions of responsibility we can't hope to know the answer to. But by their being, we are asked to live into it, to try to figure out through our very living. This is a complex, interconnected, stunningly beautiful world. May we make space for all beings in it. Sitting at a table with a member of this congregation, one of the more than 300 brilliant people who interrupt and intersect with my own life and call me into greater being. And she looked at me anxious and said, I know what I want to say, but I don't know if I should say it. And I said, no, you should say it. She said, I really don't know that this is the place or the time to say it. And I said, look, if you have something you want to say, you should say it. And she said, well, okay, damn it, I'll say it. And she looked at me and the other people sitting around that table, and she said, I really just think that our church should buy those hotels on the corner of Main Street and Pine and convert them into free housing for people in our community. That's what I think. And I said, wow. She said, I also think we should expand the RE wing. I think we need to hire 4 more full-time staff members. I said, maybe it's time to slow down a little bit. She said, I've got a list. And we said, speak. Speak your dream. Speak your truth. And this is the time to do it. We were sitting at a table in the middle of a visioning process for our congregation. And we had just been asked this question: if money were no obstacle, asterisk, 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 if money were no obstacle, what do you dream of? What do you dream our congregation would do within ourselves and for the greater community? What would you do? And this person, not known for being, how can I say this? I had not previously known them to not speak their mind. Congregation of free thinkers that we are. This person looked at the folks around the table with a moment of hesitation and said, I don't know if I should say this. Well, that's what we were there for. We'd all given up time and made space and been invited in. A whole committee had been appointed and wasted hours of their lives planning for this. When else? And I was moved to see this person's hesitation, their concern, that if they spoke their truth, their dream, it might be too much. It might come crashing in and interrupt what? Everybody else's plans? This person, often brazen in speech, courteous almost to a fault in this moment, pausing before they shared their vision. And to the credit of everyone at that table, more than me, more than I myself said, no, you speak. And they did. And when they unleashed their ideas, other people's ideas were unleashed. And at the table next, I listened over and heard a whole flow of ideas, some in direct contradiction to the things that were being said at the previous table. This upwelling of energy and ideas, and some in conflict with each other. But the beauty and wonder of all of this energy released, what could we do in this world? What could we do to build a world where everyone has enough and no one has to be afraid? What could we do? In just a few minutes, all of us are invited to a delicious spread provided by our hospitality team, and to hear a report from our Mission Vision Covenant team that has now been working for a full year. That team has planned a process, and they have organized a whole series of meetings, a set in the fall and a set in the spring. And they have called us and emailed us and shaken our hands and pushed us through doors and forced us into seats to try to get us to sit down and talk with each other. And when they did that, with all of that planning and preparation, something happened. Trying to draw out of us big, vision ideas and large-scale words that can encompass an entire community of people, none of whom think the same way. Good luck with that. Trying to draw all of us into a shared mission and vision. When they asked us what we thought, more than 300 ideas welled up. Buying hotels, hiring staff, expanding buildings, charging into areas of social justice we haven't dared yet touch, legislation, wise gun policy, medical care for all, no one hungry, huge upwelling ideas of every kind. And when the Mission Vision Covenant team went back with this overwhelming assortment of ideas, their first response was, "Oh my God, how are we ever going to figure this out?" Because our congregation had come crashing in and interrupted the plans, the whole sequence of ideas that had been laid out. But to that team's credit, they looked at the beauty and wonder of what had emerged. People speaking their dreams, their truth, articulating the impossible, not knowing how it would be received. Just the beauty of doing that. And they have revised their whole process to say, behold this beauty. Behold this energy. This is where we must turn our attention. Let's do this work in a new way, connecting and making space for each other. You may never have been here before, ever. You may be choosing right now to never come again. You are invited to listen and be a part. You may have been here since before there was a here. You may think, well, given the normal human lifespan, my time is coming close. I don't know that my dreams matter much. And you're wrong about that. You're invited to listen and participate. Because the call of this team to us is wonder and beauty are alive in each of us. And they are summoning us to draw that out in a way that will seem impossible. Because they believe that we have it within us. They believe that we have within us like a doe walking through the woods at night. Absolute wonder and beauty to bring forth into this world. The green truth of life for Veritas. To give birth to something so beautiful that it will interrupt our world and cause our world to stumble and wonder and in care, questioning what does this mean for the interconnected life we must build? What does this mean that you are asking of us? What is the responsibility that you are placing on us? We are summoned to bring a beauty forth. Like two fawns that stopped me yesterday and have stopped us all again this morning.
Please stand as you're able and join the number 124 from the Gray Hymnal.
And now, as we extinguish our chalice, let us hear the words of Walt Whitman from Song of Myself. My voice goes after what my eyes cannot reach. With the twirl of my tongue, I encompass worlds and volumes of worlds. Speech is the twin of my vision. It provokes me forever.
Those biologists said, just wait. Just wait. Wait. And in the night, under that vast moon last night, a mother came for her fawns and led them into a world greater than any of us can imagine, which they alter with every footstep of their beauty. Speak your dreams. Speak the truth of your life, even beyond all words. And in your wonder and beauty, change us all.